Ladies and gentlemen, there is a big scramble in Mount Kenya for votes, and the two main political leaders who are fighting for votes in Mount Kenya is William Samoei Arap Ruto, who is the current president of the Republic of Kenya, and Rigathi Gachagua, who is the impeached deputy president and the leader of DCP currently. And Rigathi Gachagua, who is the impeached deputy president, is actually seen to be the de facto leader of Mount Kenya. And he is doing all he can to control Mount Kenya as a region. And also, President William Samoei Arap Ruto and his deputy, Professor Abraham Kindiki, they are doing all they can so that he can see that he must get hold of Mount Kenya votes back, or at least he should get some of the votes from Mount Kenya as a region. So that is actually what I want us to have as a candid talk, so that we can actually explain, so that we can see clearly what is happening in the political arena of Mount Kenya, who is getting the grip of the votes in Mount Kenya, who is going to control Mount Kenya politics from henceforth forward. But before we dive in and try to dissect all that, I could request you kindly to take a minute and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give this video a like, share the video to your friends, and if your friends are lovers of politics, then it's good to request them for us to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And whenever you subscribe to our YouTube channel, always make sure to smash the bell button, because that is the only way you will give YouTube permission so that you can get notified whenever we upload any political content into YouTube, so that you can be among the first people to view that content. And for those ones who have actually subscribed to our YouTube channel, I say thank you, and may God bless you all abundantly, because you are behind our inspiration to continue coming up with this kind of political analysis. Now, let us go back to the discussion of the day. How there is a big scramble for the votes in Mount Kenya. And now, let me give a background why there is such a big scramble for votes in Mount Kenya, and why it is turning to be like so. If you remember, 2022 presidential election, Mount Kenya voted overwhelmingly to President William Samoei Arap Ruto, and by then his deputy William Rigathi Gachagua. And they did that despite the warning from President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And by that time, the people of Mount Kenya felt that they had to vote in William Samoei Arap Ruto, because by then they thought that the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta never fulfilled what he had told them to do to the mountain. And since he was their son, and therefore from that time when they voted overwhelmingly to His Excellency the President William Samoei Ruto, and by then his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, they stuck together for a period of 1 to 2 years. But they actually went into separate ways. When President William Samoei Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza fraternity had to impeach Rigathi Gachagua with the influence of Raila Amolo Odinga. And Rigathi Gachagua was actually impeached. And many people thought that that was the end of Rigathi Gachagua politics. But Rigathi Gachagua, being the son of Mau Mau, he has bounced back. He started immediately campaigning and popularizing his name and fighting to be the kingpin of the mountain. And because of his effort, we can say comfortably that he is now the de facto leader of Mount Kenya. And Rigathi Gachagua has actually formed his own political party, which is called DCP. And now the people of Mount Kenya are behind Rigathi. And that is why they have moved from William Samoei Arap Ruto side, and now they are behind Rigathi Gachagua, who now they feel that he will take care of their political interest onward. But President William Samoei Arap Ruto, as you know, is a very shrewd politician. He's a man who doesn't agree to be defeated easily. And that is why he has started that campaign, so that he can see whether he is going to win back Mount Kenya to his docket. And as I have told you, the genesis of this political fight is because of the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. As you know, before Rigathi was impeached, Rigathi was very strongly supporting William Samoei Arap Ruto and his policies. But after impeachment, Rigathi Gachagua is tearing any policy of the government, any policy that William Samoei Ruto is trying to come up with. He is trying to say SHA is not working. He is telling the people of the mountain that the education of this nation has actually perished. Even the funding system to the children of Kenya, to universities, has collapsed. That is what Rigathi Gachagua is actually telling the people of Mount Kenya now. But before that, Rigathi was telling the people of Kenya that those things were good and they were working. And because of the effort of Rigathi Gachagua currently, that is why we are saying that he has become the de facto leader of Mount Kenya. And now he's telling the people of Mount Kenya and the political class of Mount Kenya that they should seek for their elective posts, let come 2027, through DCP as a political party. And he's telling the people of the mountain that anybody or any political leader who is going to be outside DCP, he should be disciplined and he should never be given any kind of votes. But as I have said, William Samoei Ruto is not asleep, because Mount Kenya votes will actually define who is going to be the president of this republic. So William Samoei Ruto is embarking strongly on the campaign within Mount Kenya. And as you know, recently, William Samoei Ruto was in Meru, where he was totally embarrassed, because anything he was trying to tell the people from that side, people were not satisfied. Even some of the political leaders who were addressing the crowd could stop them. The crowd could tell them, you are cheating us. And William Samoei Ruto was totally embarrassed because of that event. And remember, the event was even planned even by his deputy, Abraham Kindiki. And that is why many people are saying that the plan for William Samoei Arap Ruto to bring in Abraham Kithure Kindiki to be his deputy was that Abraham Kindiki was actually to be used to counter the narrative of Rigathi Gachagua. And now Rigathi Gachagua narrative is that President William Samoei Arap Ruto must be a one-term president. And he is preaching this nation, this message to the people of Mount Kenya. And it looks like the people of Mount Kenya have actually taken that seriously. And that's why of late, whenever William Samoei Ruto tries to have a rally within the Mount Kenya, the people could tell him one term, meaning that he's going to serve as a one-term president. And you saw what happened in Kirinyaga when Abraham Kithure Kindiki went there. He was actually chased by the people of Kirinyaga when he landed at one place. And what does that mean? It means that Rigathi Gachagua is holding the mountain ransom. Rigathi Gachagua is in control. But William Samoei Ruto, being a man who does not give up, is still knocking at the door of Mount Kenya. And why do you think William Samoei Arap Ruto is so persistent? Because William Samoei Ruto understands that without him penetrating Mount Kenya and at least having some votes from that place, it is going to be very difficult for him to win his re-election late come 2027. And that is why William Samoei Ruto is very serious and is doing all he can to see that he is going to win the mountain back, or he is going to win substantially good votes from the mountain. Because if the mountain is going to rock or the votes behind somebody, then it's going to pose serious danger to William Samoei Arap Ruto. And sometimes Rigathi Gachagua is telling the people of the mountain that there are some of the political parties which are being used by President William Samoei Ruto so that they can divide the votes of the mountain. And he told people recently that Jubilee is another party which is actually being used by the government so that the votes of Mount Kenya will be divided. And this will be easy, or it will make it very easy for President William Samoei Arap Ruto to be re-elected late come 2027. But it looks that Rigathi is very much determined, and Rigathi is quite aggressive in campaigning. He's crossroading across the mountain to see that he has pushed back all the gains that President William Samoei Arap Ruto is trying to get. So Rigathi is doing all he can. And President William Samoei Ruto He is not stopping at anything. He wants to make sure that he divides the mountain to have some votes from that place, or he brings back the mountain to his docket. Who will win in this fight? Is it Rigathi, as many political observers are telling us? Is it William Samoei Arap Ruto, as other political analysts are actually telling us? Because some of the political analysts, they are telling us that William Samoei Ruto is very keen at Mount Kenya votes, and he wants to scoop a good number of votes from Mount Kenya. And William Pai now is not only very keen at Mount Kenya, he is trying to get votes from every corner of the republic, so that at the end, William Samoei Ruto will win with tyranny of small numbers. That means he will get some votes from part of the Republic of Kenya, patches, and at the end, he will use those votes to win. But as you know, Rigathi is very keen, and Rigathi is very bitter with William Samoei Ruto, and that is why he's doing all he can to consolidate the votes of Mount Kenya. And that is why of late you are seeing, if President William Samoei Ruto goes to the mountain, Rigathi is from behind to erase all the gains. And if Rigathi knows that William Samoei Ruto is going to the mountain, he will go there probably 2 days earlier, and he will poison the entire mountain, so that when President William Samoei Ruto will enter to that field, he gets that the field is quite poisoned. The people are rejecting him. And that is why sometimes Rigathi tells them, when he comes and when he cheats, tell him one term. Tell him one term. What do you think about this scramble of Mount Kenya politics? Who do you think will win? Is it Rigathi Gachagua? Or is it William Samoei Arap Ruto? And do you think that Mount Kenya votes matters so much as we move towards 2027 presidential election? And do you believe that Rigathi will console the entire Mount Kenya, and William Samoei Ruto is actually not going to penetrate in Mount Kenya? Please drop your comment in the comment section below. And if this is your first time to bump into this YouTube channel, I request you kindly to take a minute or two and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give this video a like, share the video to your friends. And if your friends are lovers of politics, then it's good to request them for us to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And whenever you subscribe to our YouTube channel, always make sure to smash the bell button, because by doing that, you give YouTube permission so that you can be notified, so that anytime we make any political content and upload it into YouTube, you will be notified to watch that content. And with that, I say thank you until we meet in our next political discussion. Goodbye.